Hare Krishna, Prabhus and Matajis. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I am Anandamayi Mangala Devi Dasi. I'll be your moderator for today. Welcome back to our Wednesday class. Before we start, allow me to recite the Mangala Charan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadandikam. Vande Ham Sri Guru Sri Yutapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha. Sri Rupam Sagarajadam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tamsa Jeevam. Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam. Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namastute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrinda Vaneshwari Prishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Vancha Kalpada Rubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Baya Evacha Patitanam Pavanavebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimadi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Prabhus and Matajis. Today we have the pleasure of hearing the discourse from His Grace Hema Rupa Prabhu from ISKCON Govardhan Eco Village. His Grace is a well-known speaker in our academy and needs no introduction. So without any further delay, please join me in welcoming His Grace Hema Rupa Prabhu for today's discourse. Hare Krishna, Your Grace, whenever you're ready.
Hare Krishna. So happy to be back with all the devotees. Today we have a topic of discussion called God, right, who is all-powerful and all-accessible. So this is going to be based on a discussion from the Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, 13th verse. So we see when we define God, God has to have these two aspects of being all-powerful. But what is the use of a person who is all-powerful if they're not accessible? In today's world, we all run to someone who's very powerful. Whenever problems are arising, whenever we have difficulties, whenever we need to solve some issues, we always look for a powerful person, isn't it? Power attracts us, power gives us shelter, power increases our faith. But what if the person who is all-powerful is not available? So God is not like that. God is all-powerful and all-accessible for all kinds of people. This is something that we need to remember. A lot of people lose faith in God, thinking that God is not accessible. So this actually comes from a definition by Srila Ramanuja Acharya. Srila Ramanuja Acharya, he gives a definition of God. He says that God has to have two qualities. One is called Ishwaratvam. Ishwaratvam. That means he has this Ishwara. He has this ability to control, supreme power. Ishwaratvam. And the second, he has to be Sulabhatvam. Sulabha means very easily obtainable. So God is someone who is all-powerful and at the same time all-accessible. Right? So how is God approachable? He has made himself available in his name, form, pastimes. Bhagavatam is Lord himself. So like this, the Lord has made in various ways how he's actually approachable to everyone. So now let us look at today's shloka we are discussing from Bhagavad Gita. This is from the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 13th verse. And this is where Krishna is explaining duties. He's explaining knowledge and duties to Arjuna, karma. So here he says that to function in this world, I have created a system, right? Without systems, how can there be function? We also see in our daily lives, there are some systems, that's why things are going very sane. If things do not have system, neither they'll be sane, nor can there be growth. So Krishna says this verse, Chaturvarnam maya shrishtam. He says the four varnas, the system of social order, maya shrishtam. I am the one who created it. Now we all know, we all heard of. What are the four varnas? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Varna, just like in Malay we call Varna, right, means colors. So Varna, or in Indian language now, Varna, Varnamala, Varna actually means colors. So Krishna says four colors I've created, and these colors are Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. Now, in today's world, when we hear divisions, when we hear hierarchy, when we hear classifications and distinguishing, we feel a little hurt. Oh, why? Everyone should be equal. They should be one. But logically, in this world, nothing functions on an equal platform, right? Men cannot be like women. Women cannot be like men. Nothing functions on a equal platform because the world is filled with variety and diversity. Even in the working place, the amount of respect you, of course, you show respect to everyone, but the amount of respect you show to your boss, your supervisor, your CEO will not be the same. Like the way you react to, for example, the Machi canteen, right? The canteen lady. So you respect her definitely, but if she gives you something or she says you something, you will take it lightly. But if the boss tells you, say, do it now, you know. So we respect everyone, but there's always a distinction, there's always a hierarchy. So Krishna says that I created the system of this world of varieties. Why? Because that's how the world has to function. There cannot be equality in one sense on the external level. So this is how things are made. Can you imagine if the whole world was filled with doctors? Everyone is equal, right? Then it's very tough. Where are the teachers? Where are the accountants? Where are the engineers? Where are the lawyers? So we need variety. Right? You can't be, if you want to have a protein-based meal, you eat only one item. You can't. You need a variety of it. Right? That's what keeps things going. So this is very real. Chaturvarnam maya shrishtam. Krishna says, I created this. Sometimes we have an idea, we have a notion that the so-called caste system, right, was created by Britishers, was created by other people. We have this notion, but actually Krishna says that I created these distinctions. But next line is most important. Chaturvarnam maya shrishtam guna karma vibhagasa. How did I create distinctions between them? Through gun and karma, through qualities and through their work. So a person is known by the type of work that he does, right? He or she does. So guna, what kind of qualities they have, and karma, what kind of activities they do. So how do you know if a person is a Brahmanical, an educationist, a Kshatriya, administrative person, or a Vaishya, business, enterprising person, or a Shudra, a person who is skillful, right, in traits and arts? How do you know? It's only by the qualities that they exhibit or by the type of work they do, not by birth. Krishna doesn't say janma, right? So here's a very important point that the varna is not assigned by as birth, but varna is assigned based on the qualities one exhibits or the type of work that one does. Then Krishna says, Tasya kartaram apimam vidhi akartaram avyayam. Krishna says that although I've created this system, right? Tasya kartaram apimam. Although I created this system to act, to function, vidhi, please know, akartaram. I am not bound by it. I am not under it. So Krishna has created the system of these four varnas. And where does Krishna sit? Krishna says, I'm not bound by it. Because sometimes people ask a question, what is Krishna? Is Krishna a Brahmana? Is Krishna a Kshatriya? Is Krishna a Vaishya? Krishna was born in a cowherd family. Krishna later became the king of Dwarka. So is Krishna shifting through varnas? No, Krishna says, I'm beyond the varnas. Right? Krishna was giving great counsel to the Pandavas as if he's a Brahmana. Right? So what role was Krishna playing? Krishna in the Rajasuya sacrifice was washing the feet of all the guests. Was he a Shudra assisting at the menial work? So what was Krishna? Krishna was Supreme God. Right? Krishna is beyond all the varnas. Krishna says here, Tasya kartaram apimam vidhi arkartaram avyayam. I am eternal. I am beyond this function. So let us look at the purports. Very important what Srila Prabhupada has to share with us in this verse. We'll look at it one at a time. We've broken up the purports. So first, how Lord is the creator. Prabhupada brings out this point that the Lord is the creator of everything in this world. Therefore, everything is born from him. Everything is sustained in him. And after annihilation, everything rests in him. That means whatever we see of caste system or whatever we see of whatever created in this world must have its origin in God in a pure form. Of course, later it got contaminated in a different way. That's a different thing. So these four social divisions, Prabhupada goes on to explain. He is therefore the creator of the four divisions of social order, beginning with the intelligent class of men who are technically called as the Brahmanas, due to their situation in a mode of goodness. Right? So they are the intelligent class of men. They give guidance. And next is the administrative class, the Kshatriya class, right? Because they are situated in a mode of passion. And then the mercantile men, the business guys, the Vaishyas, they are situated in the modes of mixed passion and ignorance. And last are the Shudras, the laborer class, which are very important to get everything functioning in this world, right? Are situated in the ignorant mode of material nature. So then Prabhupada goes on, but despite having created this system, Krishna is transcendental. In spite of creating the four divisions of human society, Krishna does not belong to any of these divisions because he is not one of this conditioned soul, a section of or who form human society. Now, this is a very important thing we have to understand because in today's day and age, Sanatan Dharma, Hinduism, whatever you may call it, is getting a bad name by saying that we are putting people down, we are lifting people up. There's a lot of social dissension, there's a lot of divide, there's a lot of inequality associated with the religion, but that's not true. As from today's presentation, we'll look at a few examples how Sanatan Dharma was God himself is all accessible, opening up himself to all four classes of people, and even beyond the four classes, people lower than these classes, because God is for everyone. These social orders are meant for the functioning of society, for the smooth functioning of society. Imagine a business or an enterprise or a company. You have your CEO, you have your managers, you have the people who supply goods to your company, the traders, and you have the people who are non-technical support staffs, who does the cleaning, who does the lifting, who does the cutting, who does the serving, who does the cooking, whatnot. Right? You need all these kind of things to run a company. Similarly, to run the world, you need all kinds of people. But Sanatan Dharma opens its doors to all kinds of people. Let's look further into the purport. Prabhupada goes on to say, what is the purpose of this divisions? What's the purpose of distinguishing people? What's the purpose of having not social dissension, but having separate categories in society? Prabhupada says the purpose is to elevate society. Human society is similar to any other animal society. Prabhupada draws this comparison. But to elevate man from animal status, the above mentioned four divisions are created to systematically develop Krishna consciousness. So nice that we see that each one of the four varnas are tainted by different modes: goodness, passion, ignorance, sattva, rajas, tamas. And therefore, it's a beautiful gradual elevation from a person being so conditioned to selfishness, right? Animals are very selfish in one sense, right? Because they only think of their food, their survival. They don't think so much about society or others. They don't think about how things are going to grow, build better for others, how we can support others. They're thinking about themselves first. So from that level of super selfishness, slowly to become Brahmana, even higher than that, which Prabhupada mentioned, to super selflessness. So the tendency of a particular man toward work is determined by the modes of material nature which he has acquired. Okay. Such symptoms of life according to different modes of material nature are described in the 18th chapter of this book. Prabhupada says. So the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, you'll see the qualities of these four varnas to understand oneself better. Now Prabhupada says there is beyond Brahmana also. This is an important point. We are talking about the four varnas which all material society has to function on: Shudra, Vaishya, Kshatriya, and Brahmana. But Prabhupada brings up an important point. There is something beyond Brahmana, beyond the three modes. He says, a person in Krishna conscious, however, is even above the Brahmanas. Although Brahmanas by quality are supposed to know about Brahman, Brahma Janati iti Brahmana, the supreme absolute truth, but most of them approach only the impersonal manifestation. Right? But a man who transcends the limited knowledge of a Brahmana, who only knows the impersonal, right, he reaches the knowledge of the personal, the supreme absolute truth. Many people nowadays, they only think that God is a light, but they do not know beyond this light is actually a person who emits the light. So a Brahmana is one who only knows light, but be a person beyond that is a person in Krishna consciousness. And that person, Prabhupada calls, right? Lord Sri Krishna becomes a person in Krishna conscious, or in other words, a Vaishnava. So Vaishnava is one who transcends Brahmana. He transcends the four caste system or social order of the system. That is what this is. And finally, Prabhupada writes the purport, Krishna consciousness includes different plenary expansions of Krishna. So when you know Krishna, you know all the forms of Krishna. You know Rama, you know Narasimha, you know Varaha. As Krishna is transcendental to the systems of the four division of human society, a person in Krishna consciousness is also transcendental, because Krishna says that I am transcendental to the system. Similarly, a person who is worshipping the Lord is also transcendental to the system, whatever we consider the divisions of society, nation, or species. So within our Krishna conscious society, we are not very eager to be labeled. Am I a Brahmana? Am I a Kshatriya? Am I a Vaishya? Am I a Shudra? We're not very eager because we understand that we are Vaishnavas. What is the mood of a Vaishnava? Whatever works, right? We will do it. Whatever pleases Krishna. If Krishna wants me to do this, I will do it. If Krishna wants me to do that, I will do that. So we understand the purpose of this. The Vaishnava is beyond the system. There's another very interesting verse in Srimad Bhagavatam which Narada Muni speaks. I'd like to share here. He says, Yasya yallakshanam proktam pumso varnabhivanjakam yat anyatrapi drisheta tatteineva vinirdishet. He says, varnabhivanjakam. All these varnas are there that we discuss. If one shows the symptoms of being a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, whatever it may be, although he has appeared in a varna abhivanjakam, he is different in a different varna, but he has the lakshanam. He should be known by that varna. So if a person who is so-called sometimes born in a not a very good family, maybe a so-called lower caste family, but if he has all the lakshan of being a devotee or being a Vaishnava, Brahmana, then he is to be understood to be a Brahmana. Whereas a person who is so-called born in a Brahmana family, but he has all the bad lakshanas of a rogue or a thief or a scoundrel, then he cannot be considered a Brahmana, right? One has to be, this is what Shastras mention actually. So unfortunately in society from past 1,000 years or more has been neglectful of understanding this properly. And therefore Sanatana Dharma has suffered for the past 1,000 years, being labeled as a caste conscious system instead of Krishna conscious, has been labeled as a oppressive belief that puts down people, that puts down different members of society, but they don't understand the purpose of gradual elevation. So I thought that we'll share some beautiful stories today about some great Vaishnavas who had their own social challenges, right? So the first we're going to see is a story of one of the Alvars in South India. These Alvars are famous Sri Vaishnavas, like we are Gaudiya Vaishnavas, follows in the Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya. These are Sri Vaishnavas coming in the Lakshmi Sampradaya, who are most prominently based in Sri Rangam and later Tirupati. So the Sri Vaishnavas, they have these Alvars who are great poets and sages and saints who are all said to be the manifestations of the Supreme Lord ornaments, right? So here is one famous Alvar. His name is Tirupan Alvar. So Tirupan Alvar was a person who was born in a lower caste community. He was born in what is known as a Pana community. Panar are those who play musical instruments, Panar. He was born in a Panar community, and therefore he did not have access to the Sri Rangam temple at the time. Tirupan Alvar, of course, his name later came Tirupan Alvar. he heard about the glories of Shri Ranganath. And every day he would stand at the river of Kaveri. And I hope some of you who have been to Shri Rangam, you have seen the ocean, the river Kaveri is circling the island of Shri Rangam. So he would stand at the banks of Kaveri and he would sing poetry and chant the name of Narayan, worshipping Shri Ranganatha. So one day, one of the pujaris of Ranganath, his name is Loka Sarangamuni. Loka Sarangamuni was a great Vaishnava and a great Brahmana and a great devotee of the Lord. So one day he was worshipping Ranganatha and he thought now is the time for Abhishekam. So let me go to Kaveri and take my pot and fill with Kaveri water, which is like Ganga, so I can bathe Ranganatha. So as he went to the Kaveri to pick water, he saw standing in his way was this Tirupan Alwan. So he saw him and he said, "You Panar, a Pana person standing in between. If I touch you, I'll become contaminated. Who knows whether you took bath, you didn't take bath, whether you chanted your mantras, what you're eating, what you're not eating. We don't know." So Lokasaranga Muni, what he did was he thought that how to move him now, carrying this big, if you have seen how big that Pana is, carrying that mud pot. So he picked up a stone and he threw at Tirupan Alwar. And Tirupan Alwar got hit. He hit him on his head. And Tirupan Alwar turned back and he saw, oh, this Brahmana, this Vaishnava, this servant of Ranganatha has come. And I'm blocking his way. He immediately folded his hand and said, Sir, please go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm blocking your way. And Loka Sarangamuni thought these people, what they know, never mind, no problem. He went in, picked up water from Kaveri and he returned to the Sri Rangam temple. Now, the moment he returned to the temple, he found that all the doors were locked. He tried to enter the temple, he could not enter. He's saying, what is this? Something has happened, or why is this happening? The door is locked. He prayed, oh my Lord, please let me enter. What is this? And there he heard the Lord's voice from inside. You are an offender. You are an aparadi. You offend my devotees and you want to come to see me? Lokasarangamuni said, I don't understand, Lord. What did I do? Please let me enter. Immediately the doors open. And he goes inside and he sees the big, large Ranganatha deity. And he sees the Lord on the forehead and the Lord is hurt from his forehead. So, my God. Immediately he understood. This Tirupan Alwar, who he threw this Panar who he had thrown stone on, he must be a great devotee of the Lord. The Lord is injured. So he prays, my Lord, please forgive me. What did I do? I didn't understand. The Lord says, go and bring that Panar here. Bring him within the temple. Now, those days, culture was such, if you go to many temples, at least we've seen in South India, the main sanctorum is very small. Right? The main altar where the deities are very small because it's understood that only the main pujari, the main Ayyar, they are the ones who stand and they do puja. Others stand a bit outside. And the courtyard of the temple is very huge, the temple courtyard, not the middle inside, the outside area. Huge. Because all the outside people, they stand only outside and from far, from different small windows, they will see the darshan or at least see the deebam, the jodi, the fire, arti. That much they will see. No one had gone inside. So you see, most of the temple structures were small because they had main people to do the real worship were very small. Why? Because a lot of rules had to be followed. They would do early morning fasting, they would do austerities, observe brahmacharya, observe saucham, cleanliness, this and that. So many tapasyas they would follow. And the people, the common people, they would not do all this. So how to let them enter? So Lokasaranga Muni said, my Lord, he is a panar. How can I bring him inside? 1 foot, if he put in this temple, the temple will become contaminated. How to bring him inside here? So the Lord said, oh, he put his foot inside, it will become contaminated. Then let him come without touching the floor. Lokasaranga Muni said, my Perumale, I don't understand what you're saying. Put him on your shoulders and bring him. So Lokasaranga Muni said, yes, my Lord. Lokasaranga Muni goes back to the Kaveri, sees Tirupan Alwar, and he says, Lord is calling you, please come. He says, Lord is calling me. I've never seen him. I've only chanted his glories. I don't know. I've never seen him. He said, call, he's coming you. He took him on his shoulders, brought him within the sanctum sanctorium, right? And he started showing the lotus feet. Ranganath is very big. You see from the lotus feet, then he saw the lotus waist. Huh? So then he saw the lotus face. So there's a famous pasurams of the Alvars, and one of it is Tirupan Alvars, very famous. He sings so many beautiful songs. He glorifies the lotus feet of the Lord. He glorifies the lotus waist of the Lord. Yeah? Tirupadam, Tiru Vairu, like that he called. Tirumugam, he calls different parts of his pasurams. So he glorifies the lotus face, he glorifies the lotus stomach of the Lord, waist of the Lord. Then he glorifies the lotus face of the Lord. And upon reaching the lotus feet of the Lord, Tirupan Alvar was in so much ecstasy. And Loka Saranga Muni, he's carrying and he's witnessing all this. The Lord is teaching him a lesson. Here we can also learn a lesson how the devotees of the Lord, even though what happens, they may do a mistake, but they accept whatever the Lord says. So in devotional life, perfection is not what we are after. Perfection is not what we are after. Submission is what we are after. We didn't expect Loka Saranga Muni to be a perfect Brahmana or Vaishnava who knew everything. We didn't expect. Mistake on his part was okay. But look at his submission. In front of the whole city of Sri Vaishnavas, he was willing to hold the panar on his neck and carry him like an animal. Why? Because the Lord had told. So in this story, nobody is a villain. Sometimes people say that, oh, Loka Saranga Muni, look at this Brahmana, he's oppressing the lower caste. Not like that. They are both Vaishnavas. And the Lord has purified both people in his way and accepted both people in his way. So in a Vaishnava scene, in a Vaishnava scenario, right, in a bhakti scenario, everyone is a winner. So Loka Saranga Muni here is also a winner. He's seeing the divine exchange between Tirupan Alvar and Perumal. So seeing this, Tirupan Alvar was in ecstasy, chanting the name, and upon reaching the Mukam, the lotus face of the Lord, he left his body within the temple. So he's one of the great Alvars, and his deity is also respected. Tirupan Alvar is always carrying like a veena or sitar or tamburi. He's always carrying and always reciting the glories of the Lord and with divine song. And the Lord accepted him within his sanctum sanctorium. Whole life he had never seen the Lord, but whole life he had glorified and served the Lord. In the end, the Lord accepted him. So here's a beautiful, powerful story that someone who was so-called born in a lower caste, and but somehow or other, he had access because of his pure devotion and sincerity. So he crossed all social barriers. Today's day and age, it's not like that. Every one of us, there's no social barriers now because of people demanding equality. So they allow the temples. Anyone can come in, whether you have taken bath, not taken bath, whether you have taken vow, not taken vow, whether you are clean, unclean. Everyone comes in and see the deity. So people take it cheaply. They don't desire to uplift themselves. They say, even if I have not taken bath in the morning, I still can see the deity. Nothing wrong. Right? So now darshan and temple worship has become very cheap in Kali Yuga. That everyone is doing it. Those days were not like that. People would observe very much strict rules. So nowadays, in term of so-called access, they have reduced these standards. But they forget that the Lord is always accessible. The Lord was accessible before also. He's in our heart. We can chant his glories. And if by sincere worship, the Lord will arrange such beautiful darshans. So this happened in South India, in Tamil Nadu, in Sri Rangam. A beautiful story who has been elevated to the position of Alvars, pure devotees of the Lord. And they are pure devotees. Another story I like to share with you happened in Maharashtra. So this is from a recent visit that I went to see. This pastime happened around 1,000 years ago, 800 years ago, around almost 400 years before the appearance of even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There was this young boy who was called Jnaneshwar, Sant Jnaneshwar, Saint Jnaneshwar, young boy. So this Jnaneshwar was actually not an outcast. Here's a funny story. So Jnaneshwar and his brothers and sisters are born in Brahmana families. But they were outcast from their own Brahmana family. They were removed from their own Brahmana status because their father was a sannyasi before. Somehow or other, the father had taken sannyas, but he could not maintain his sannyas, and therefore he returned home, got married, and got 4 children. And those days, culture was if someone did this, they'd be considered a Vantansi. Vantasi means a vomit eater. That means when you vomit and you eat back the vomit. Who will do that, isn't it? So those days, social laws were so strict that a person taken sannyas, you should leave home only, don't come back. You're a sannyasi, a Maharaj. But somehow or other, his father had returned, got married, and got 4 children. But these 4 children were not ordinary. They were all very, very qualified devotees of the Lord. But society could not accept them, could not recognize them. Therefore, when Jnaneshwar and his brother and sister would go to the market, all the local brahmanas sitting there in the temples and all would ostracize them. Do not come near them. Do not touch them. They are children of sannyasi. It is a a slur to say that they are children of sannyasi. Just like sometimes in ISKCON, because see, ISKCON also is not a very caste social orientated. We are people just fitting in some varna and just serving Krishna. So we have brahmacharis who are not really brahmacharis, people who join the brahmachari ashram after 25, 30 years old, when we are supposed to be brahmacharis from 5 years old, right? We have grahasthas who get married at 40, get married at 35. Some do not have children, have children, some remarry, all kinds of funny things. We have vanaprashtas who, we don't have so many vanaprashtas anyways, who may not do so much austerities. We have sannyasis who go for preaching, who may, take sannyas later, take sannyas after, change their sannyas or whatever. So ISKCON is a very funny story in that. In the West, there's a term, just like here they are calling them you sons of sannyasis, you children of sannyasis. In the West, in ISKCON, there's a term called brahmachari daddy. Some people had already children before out of wedlock when they were young, when they're 18, 19 years old, probably they had a girlfriend, they had a child. Then they joined ISKCON and they become brahmachari. So there's a brahmachari daddy, they already had children before. So all these kind of things are there. Today, it's Kali Yuga, it's so complicated. But at that time, around 800 years ago, this was considered a slur. So they would call these children, you children of sannyasis, and put them down. They were literally outcasts within their own society. So to be accepted in this Brahmana community, Jnaneshwar had to really show the divinity that he and his brothers and sisters had, their devotion. So there's a famous story of so many miracles that Sant Jnaneshwar Maharaj did. One was a beautiful pastime where there was this great learned Brahmana who was very cruel, and this great cruel Brahmana who was so proud because he could control a tiger. He could control a tiger and sit on a tiger and move with the tiger. And he was so proud. And therefore, when he came and saw these 4 siblings, Jnaneshwar Maharaj, his sister Muktabai, their brothers Nivritti and Sopan, when he came to see him, he was so proud. So Jnaneshwar Maharaj, just to curb his pride, all 4 siblings were sitting on a wall and Jnaneshwar made the wall float. He lifted the wall and they started moving on the wall. So this sadhu was shocked. I thought I was great because I was sitting on a tiger and running around. Who can ride on a tiger, isn't it? But he is sitting on an inanimate object, a dead object. And that has become his vahanam, the wall, a brick wall. So if today you go to Maharashtra, a place called Alandi, that wall is still there. Right? Somehow or other, just a few weeks ago I had gone and we had seen that. So that's still there. So right. In another instance, once they were rejected in the marketplace, all the Brahmanas would reject them. And Jnaneshwar is trying to prove that, being born a Brahmana, this has nothing to do with birth. If you have devotion, you have devotion. They were not willing to listen. The caste Brahmanas were so strict, they started, harassing him. And finally, when Jnaneshwar was talking to them, he saw beside him, there was a merchant. There was a person who owned some animals and he was beating his buffaloes. So much so the buffalo was dying. And Jnaneshwar felt so much compassion in his heart. He says to the Brahmanas, look, stop this. Stop this. They started laughing. Oh, what is this? You are worse than a buffalo or something. He says, no, Lord loves all beings. Lord is in all beings. They started laughing and joking with him. What does a buffalo know? It is just an animal. That is what they were saying. But just see the heart of a Vaishnava. So at once, Jnaneshwar Maharaj, what he did, he made the buffalo rise, spoke up, and the buffalo started speaking Vedic mantras. He said, you don't allow me to recite because I am a son of a sannyasi. But now the buffalo is speaking, and all the Brahmanas got shocked. The buffalo is chanting shlokas. Vam Sahasra Shirsha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapahat Sabhumi Vishwato Britva Atyatishta Dashangulam. So, and they were shocked. A buffalo who they looked down upon. So these are like the kind of miracles he did. There's another amazing miracle. This is a buffalo. Another amazing miracle, which I saw the deity form, that they were so poor, these four siblings, because the parents were not there, Jnaneshwar, Nivritti, Muktabai, and Sopan, that they would go everywhere together. And one day they had nothing to eat. And they, what to do? They had no stove or gas or all. They were very poor people. So if you can see this photo here, I took it with my mobile actually. It's a deity of Jnaneshwar showing his back and his sister making manda or bakri or a kind of roti, chapati kind of thing in Maharashtra on his back. She would make the roti, and what was her, we have a tosa color or tawa. She would put on the back of her brother and they would become cooked. So that was the kind of miracles that he would do, So the house where it happened, we saw, and we can put it on the back, and therefore he was not considered ordinary. And this was what Jnaneshwar had to do to break through society, break through the norms of society at that time. And by this, he actually spread his teachings, spread his, understanding of devotion to the Supreme Lord through various means. He made the Bhagavad Gita in a very simple language of Marathi called Jnaneshwari. Like this, he did so that people could understand what is the truth. So this was how society is or was at the time. A little is there today also. That the wrong understanding of Shastra, the wrong understanding of what this caste system is, and we tend to oppress each other. Now in today's society, people are taking another extreme. They are saying, remove all rules, remove all regulations. Anyone can do anything at any time. But then that goes against the system of elevation, gradual system of elevation. So we must accept there are certain rules, certain time, place, circumstance for certain people, but everyone has access. So if today, if someone comes and says that I want to do puja of God, I want to do arti for the God, we say no problem. Basic rule is cleanliness, internal, external, follow some principles, take good bath, wear clean clothes, and come. Then you can do worship. If you are trained, then you can. It is just like someone running into the hospital and saying, I want to do surgery. Let me do the surgery. Please come, give me a body. Let me do the surgery. If someone screams like that in the hospital, would you allow that person to do it? You will say, no, first go to medical college. First get your degree in medicine and surgery. Then have you done your apprenticeship? Do you know how to do a surgery? Everything fits. You have a dress code of a doctor. Because even if you're a doctor, but you're not wearing the scrubs, you can't do surgery. So do you have the dress code of a doctor? Do you have the education of a doctor? Do you have the etiquettes of a doctor? Do you have the knowledge and experience of a doctor? Then yes, come, now you can do surgery, right? So we have to be very real that divisions, distinctions, and rules for gradual elevation of people are there even in mundane society. So why not there for spiritual society? So anyone at any time from any social status can be elevated, but we have to be willing to give ourselves to some training for gradual upliftment. Else, simply following the rules and putting others down, that is not the way of Sanatana Dharma. So if anyone asks you, why are there so much different rules? Why are there so much different distinctions or different sections in society? Well, this is a scientific system to uplift everyone. Everyone in society is meant to be uplifted, right? Everyone has to slowly, gradually come up by following the rules. It is open to all. Just like anyone can study an engineering degree, right? First, you have some good marks, basic qualification. All right, now you enter. Anyone can come in and study and become an engineer, become a doctor, become a lawyer. It's open to all. So similarly, spiritual life is also open to all. But if a person is very, mischievous, scoundrel, he says that I don't want to be qualified, but I want the benefits. I still want to be called a Brahmana. I still want to be called a pujari, a devotee, but I don't want to go through the hardship of studying or training. Just give me the power. Just give me the benefits. Then that is a cheater. That's a scoundrel, right? So therefore, the goal and purpose of human life, the best thing we can do is become Vaishnava. Even as a Vaishnava, we need training, right? How to become a devotee. So we read the Bhakti Shastras, the Vaishnava Shastras, so that we become Vaishnava. We understand the mode of a Vaishnava. We worship and we act as Vaishnavas. So in this way, we can see that the true purpose of Lord's Varna Ashram is a very pure purpose to uplift everyone. And not at any time has the Lord rejected anyone from any social status. If you take even Lord Ram's pastime, Lord Ram is even bigger lengths he goes. He accepted monkeys, he accepted poor tribal ladies, he accepted a bird, right? Jatayu, he accepted people from different backgrounds because they were all his devotees. So the Lord is always open to all. He is not pro-Brahmana. He is not Brahmana-centric, as what people may think he is. So this is actual true love in Sanatana Dharma, that the Lord loves all. Lord is loving everyone. Let us all try to become qualified to love him back. So we'll end here. Hare Krishna. We'll open up for some questions.
Hare Krishna, Your Grace. Thank you very much for such an enlightening class. We can take a few questions. We have ample of times. Devotees can type out in the chat box or unmute yourself. There's a question in the chat box, Prabhu. Shall I read?
Yes, ma'am.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. How in this age one can know one's own varna and act accordingly? Thank you, Prabhuji.
Good question. So basic understanding of our varna, we can see even from our nakshatram. Every nakshatram, they will have a varna associated with it based on nakshatra. That's a basic idea, right? A basic idea. Now, Chanakya Pandit has told that although one may be born in a certain varna, but a lot of other factors influence a person. For example, a person may have a varna which shows Brahmin, right? Certain nakshatras, all the nakshatras are divided into 4 varnas. So although sometimes you have a nakshatra which shows Brahmin, but let's say the person born in a family of all kudikara and drinking people, smoking people, they done all the nonsense thing, bad things. So that inclination as a Brahminical tendency is there, but they may not do the work of a Brahmana. So knowing this, one should now try to, come out of it. But because of so much bad habits and surroundings, influence from peers, one may not show that quality. It's just like a gold covered with dirt. So it's very tough to understand. You can just see it. If you can act on it, it's great. But one have to be careful with social surroundings also, because you are who the company you keep, like that, no? So based on your company, that's how the qualities, although that is our innate nature. So we can see by understanding that nakshatra, and we can see also by the qualities that we manifest, which are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Again, not to take it too seriously, this is just a material inclination, right? If you have a Shudra tendency, Shudra is written, that doesn't mean, you Pochi, I'm a Shudra, I can never worship God. Not like that. Even a Shudra can become a Pujari or can worship God. But his psychophysical nature, inclination will be that he wants to just provide facilities, help others, assist. They will not become leaders. They're not interested in leading. But they can do everything else. They can worship God, they can do everything. So again, this Varna is just for our material functioning, so that we are happy functioning on a material level.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. There's another one more question. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. What is the easiest way to approach the all-powerful and easily accessible God?
The most powerful and easiest accessible way is holy name. Holy name is so powerful and holy name is so accessible. Anyone, anywhere, anytime can chant the holy name. And it's so powerful. We have seen people who chant the holy name, people around them start becoming devotees later. People, lives get transformed, family situation improve, cities improve. We have an example that recently I was in Mayapur. So we have a tribal ministry there where they are preaching in the far northeast, in the jungles of Assam, in the jungles of Mizoram, and all this Nagaland and all these places. So there we find people who are like really orang asli. And but after chanting Hare Krishna, the whole transformation in the village, people look better, they speak better, they talk better. They are more refined just by chanting. They also start to become materially fluent, right? And they become very peaceful. So there's a change in that atmosphere. It's very amazing. It's very stark change, actually, you can see. So the most powerful and easily accessible is the holy name.
So Hare Krishna, Prabhu and Mataji, is there any more questions? I guess there's no more questions, Prabhu. Okay, I saw a hand being raised. Would you like to unmute yourself, Janani Mataji? So I guess no more questions, Prabhu.
Oh, excellently. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Your Grace, for your time. And once again, we look forward for the next class with you, Your Grace. With that, we have come to the end of this session. Hare Krishna, Prabhu and Mataji, thank you for joining us today. All glories to their Lordship Sri Lakshmi Narayana. All glories to Sri Radhamadava Astasakis. All glories to Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. All glories to Sri Sri Gauranitai. All glories to Sampradaya Acharyas. All glories to His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the assembled devotees. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Prabhu Samitatis.